Welcome to the first part of the third tutorial. This time we'll be working on the dining table shot. Here, I wanted to create a nice and bright image with soft morning noon lighting. I want the viewer to feel like it's been just before Sunday dinner. By adding fresh flowers to the image, I gave this visualization more life. Open the third scene and have a look. I've prepared more classic furniture now. Always think first about what image you want to create. Maybe find some inspiration and use different styles. Prepare your assets and merge them into your scene. We will place the table in line with the window. We want to have the central and symmetrical composition to add some dignity to this space. As we have everything in the file that we need, let's arrange our room. Next, we will create a camera. Align the target as usual and move the camera up. We will change the focal length. $40mm works fine. Then adjust the target so we can see a little bit of the ceiling. By doing this, the vertical lines are not straight. To fix this, check Automatic Vertical Tilt. By using a composition script, make further adjustments to the camera and assets. I want to place the painting so it appears in line with the top of the window even if it is actually lower. Next, place the curtains if you choose to use them. In my case, I chose curtains because first, they are typical in this style, and second, they fill up the space in the background nicely. I will make some final adjustments to the camera and place the lamp exactly in the center. That's it. See you in the next video. In the second part, we're going to work on lighting. As always, we'll start by overriding all materials to be a basic gray material. In this case, we don't have glass in the windows. This is because it is better not to use glass when it is not necessary. We have some curtains in the scene, so we won't see any reflections anyway. By doing so, the rendering process will be faster and we can save some time. Create a V-Ray sun and click Yes to add a V-Ray sky automatically. You can see that the curtains are blocking the light. We will start setting up the lighting without them. Hide the curtains, which will be transparent later on, and leave the fabric ones. Lock the render view. Go to the camera rollout and check Auto Exposure and Auto White Balance options. This will automatically adjust these settings for us. Stop the interactive rendering and click Transfer to Camera. Open the Globals panel and adjust the values in the Exposure tab. Now we have to play around with the sun angle. Now it's time to unhide the curtains and work on their material. Start with excluding them from overriding material.
For the curtain material, we will use a Firayi two-sided material. We use this type of material for objects without thickness, like leaves, for example. Add a Firayi material to the front slot. This will control a visible part of the material. Translucency controls how much light can come through the material.
I will add some color to demonstrate to you how it works.
We will use a fall-off map. This way, curtain will be more visible in the tangent view. Set up the colors. Black color will make it 100% invisible. You can also soften the effect using map opacity.
Play around with that value a bit. We will apply some fabric texture to the diffuse color slot. Like in any fabric material, we'll use a fall-off map. Use curves to adjust the effect. Then plug the texture map to the black slot. We can leave another slot just white. We will use another color correction to make the whole thing look brighter and less saturated. Next, add some bump material. Now we will add some trees behind the window. We will place one tree to create nice shadows on the wall. Play around with the placement of the tree and the position of the sun. After that, enable bloom and glare effect and add a lot.
Play around with the values.
Make the exposure number higher to brighten up the image. I'd like to desaturate the image a bit as it looks more natural this way.
Make some adjustments using curves.
See you in the next video. It's now time for materials. Start by turning off the material override. We've created the floor material the same way as before, so we won't show this again. We'll use curves to brighten up the image. Next, we will create certain materials. I will use those textures. We will add bump and reflection glossiness maps. Then, we will use the fall-off map like in all fabrics. We will set up the diffuse texture and plug it back to the fall-off map with another brighter version. We'll do the fabric on the chairs using the same method. Take a look. Next, the tabletop. I will use some black wood textures and apply them to the material. We will use the surface imperfection texture, but this time we will mix it with the wood gloss using the V-Ray comp texture. Plug the maps to the top and the bottom slot and use some blending mode. Multiply works great here. We can use a color correction map to make the texture darker so the material will be more matte. Then I will change the opacity to make the map more subtle. I will adjust the white balance again. Lastly, we will desaturate the curtain as it looks way too blue now. I'm not going to create the wood material on the sideboard because it will be created with the same method as the previous ones. Other than that, these are models which come with materials. Sometimes you just need to adjust them a bit to the lighting. Done! See you in the next video. Now we will add some assets. Let's start with the decoration for the sideboard. I've prepared some assets which match the style of the space. Merge the assets into your scene and place them on the sideboard. Next, we will add flowers to the table. Place them in the center of the image. You can use a composition script again for the help. We will use the analogous color scheme here, so we need orange flowers. Start the interactive rendering and open Material Editor. For the flowers, we will use a similar approach as we do with fabrics. We will use the fall-off map to make the flakes brighter in tangent views. Leave the white slot empty and change the color to orange. We will also add some translucency. To understand this effect, turn on the flashlight on your phone and put your finger on top of this. Can you see that your finger is red? This is what the translucency simulates. We will use some natural color painting which matches the style. I like to use Pinterest to search for art. We will add the metal frame Let's brighten up the image a bit and change back white balance to more orange. That's it. See you in the next video. Here, we will add some depth of field to achieve more photorealism. Firstly, enable this option in camera settings. F-stop controls depth of field. The lower the value, the larger the effect. Let's start with 4 to see it more clearly. As we lower the f-stop, the image gets brighter. We can use an exposure calculator to find out the exact value of shutter speed we have to set up to come back to previous brightness. Set up your values and hit Compute. We have to use a shutter speed value of 800. Now you can override focus so you don't have to move the target. Play around with the focus distance until the middle line is intersecting with the flower. After you are happy with the results, let's load the final settings. You are ready to render the final image. See you in the next video.